the hidden allies of genocide, countries that backed Nigeria against Biafra. Over 2 million lives, mostly children, wiped out in just 3 years. The Biafran War from 1967 to 1970 remains one of the deadliest and most underreported atrocities of the 20th century. Unlike the Rwandan Genocide or the Holocaust, it's rarely spoken of. Why? Because it's still labeled a civil war, not the systematic destruction of the Igbo people that it became. But behind the headlines and the silence stood powerful global players. Today, we expose the hidden allies. The nations had fueled this war for oil, influence, and Cold War politics. Stay with me as we give you facts based on the Biafra Story, a book by Frederick Forsyth, a frontline journalist, and later an intelligence operative with MI6, the British Secret Service. This is the truth they never taught you in school. Let's start with the biggest player, the United Kingdom. According to Frederick Forsyth, Britain was Nigeria's #1 sponsor. They supplied small arms, artillery, armored vehicles, and even military intelligence. Why? Oil. Shell BP had billions invested in Nigeria's oil fields, most of which were located in secessionist Biafra. Forsyth accused the British government not just of complicity, but of deliberately aiding genocide to protect corporate profits. He also revealed how British diplomats and the BBC worked overtime to downplay the humanitarian catastrophe unfolding in Biafra. Second on the list is the Soviet Union. Now, here's the twist. While Britain backed Nigeria, so did the Soviet Union. That's right. Two Cold War enemies found common ground in crushing Biafra. The USSR sent MiG-17 fighter jets, weapons, and military advisors, not for ideology, but for geopolitical leverage and oil. Forsyth called it a strange alliance, one that proved deadly for the Igbo people. Number 3 is Egypt. Egypt, under President Nasser, went even further, sending actual pilots to bomb Biafran territories. Egyptian pilots flew Nigerian Air Force jets and carried out bombing raids on civilian targets, including refugee camps and hospitals. Forsyth documented this with chilling precision. Why did Egypt get involved? To preserve African unity by suppressing secessionist movements, even if it meant backing a genocide. The fourth on the list is Czechoslovakia and the Eastern Bloc. Czechoslovakia, a Soviet satellite state, provided ammunition, rifles, and logistical support. Alongside Syria and other Eastern Bloc nations, they formed a supply network for Nigeria. Forsyth noted, this wasn't about loyalty, it was Cold War realpolitik. Control Nigeria, and you control one of Africa's largest oil reserves. Number 5 is the United States. Publicly, the United States claimed neutrality, but behind closed doors, it was a different story. Forsyth revealed that U.S. arms were channeled to Nigeria through third-party nations. American oil companies were positioning themselves for post-war contracts, while the CIA viewed Nigeria as a strategic anchor in West Africa. Meanwhile, over 2 million civilians died, many through starvation, a tactic Nigeria used deliberately by blocking food and medicine from reaching Biafran areas. Number 6 is Canada and the Commonwealth. Canada, like many Commonwealth nations, backed Nigeria diplomatically. Forsyth didn't dwell heavily on their role, but history shows they supported one Nigeria, even while offering token humanitarian aid. In the face of genocide, many countries chose silence. Number 7 is the Organization of African Unity, OAU. The Organization of African Unity, now the African Union, overwhelmingly supported Nigeria. Countries like Ghana, Kenya, Algeria, Senegal, and Morocco feared that Biafra's success would spark more secessionist movements across Africa. Forsyth called this support a betrayal of the very ideals of Pan-Africanism. But there were notable exceptions like Tanzania. Tanzania was the first African country to recognize Biafra. Zambia expressed open sympathy. Ivory Coast and Gabon recognized Biafra diplomatically, and France aided Biafra covertly through them. This war wasn't just a Nigerian tragedy, it was a global one. The story of Biafra is more than history. It's a warning, a mirror, and for millions of Igbos, a wound that still bleeds. Want more untold stories? Hit the like, share, and subscribe button as we uncover more hidden histories. See you later.